Hey guys, today we're diving into something truly ancient. Imagine it, the moment when our prehistoric ancestors first heard a thunderstorm. Picture the deep rumble of thunder that shakes the earth beneath your feet. You're standing there, maybe by a river, surrounded by the wild, but there's something new in the air. It's heavy, filled with an energy you can't place. Something is coming, and it's not something you've ever experienced. You probably won't survive this. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, why not drop your location and the local time where you're watching from? Let's see where you all are. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The day starts like any other, the sun hanging lazily in the sky. Your tribe, scattered across the edges of the forest, is busy with its daily tasks, gathering food, tending to the fire, crafting weapons. The world around you is alive in ways you understand, it sounds familiar to your senses. The chirp of birds, the rustle of leaves, the calls of distant animals, all these things are constant in your world. But then, something happens. You hear it, just a faint, low rumble. A sound you can't place. At first, you ignore it, but it grows, slow and deliberate, like the growl of a giant beast coming from far away. Your heart skips. You've never heard anything like this. In an instant, the peaceful world around you feels different, its safety now uncertain. The ground beneath your feet hums with an odd vibration, and you notice that the animals around you seem to feel it too. They're silent now, their usual chatter replaced by an eerie stillness. Even the wind, which usually carries the scent of wet earth or the sharpness of fire, is gone. All that remains is this low rumble, stretching out over the land like a blanket of sound. This sound, it's not just a noise, it's a presence. The earth seems to tremble, and in a moment, you realize, it's coming from above. Historians argue whether ancient humans even understood the concept of weather patterns the way we do now. But in that moment, you don't need words. You feel it, this force, this power that you can't see but know is there, something beyond your control. You wonder if it's a warning, a message from the gods, or maybe just something you haven't yet figured out. For a second, it feels like everything around you is holding its breath, waiting for what comes next. The sound grows louder. Louder still. And then, just as your heart is about to explode from the tension, you hear it, the crack of thunder. It's sharp, like a weapon striking the air, and it rips through the calm with such force, you flinch involuntarily. The sound fills your chest, shakes your bones. You've never felt anything like it before. You look around, wide-eyed, as the whole world suddenly seems to be in turmoil. It's not just the sound, it's the very fabric of the air itself, thick with a power you can't understand. You've heard stories passed down from the elders about strange things happening in the sky, but nothing has prepared you for this moment. The animals scatter, their flight instinct kicking in, perhaps they understand something you do not. You stand there frozen, barely breathing, heart racing as the world around you shifts, the thunder echoing in your bones. The sky changes. The warm blue you've always known is swallowed by a thick, rolling gray. It's as if the heavens themselves are being stitched together with dark thread, an unsettling fabric of clouds that seems to swallow the sunlight. You've seen storms before, but nothing like this. You tilt your head back, squinting at the sky, trying to make sense of it. The wind has begun to pick up, but it's not like the usual breezes. No, this wind is wild, like a feral animal, tugging at your clothes and whipping your hair into your face. Everything around you feels strange, as though the very air is holding its breath. The clouds move like living things, their tendrils twisting and curling in unnatural ways. You know storms bring rain, but this feels different. The air tastes different, too, thick and metallic, almost as if it's alive, waiting for something. You feel it, don't you? That unease, that tension in your chest, the way the wind brushes against your skin and whispers a warning. You've never thought to question the weather before. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. The world is constant in its rhythms. But this? This is unfamiliar. Something new and wild is coming, and you can't quite put your finger on it. Is it the gods? Or something else entirely? Historians still argue whether early humans could really predict weather patterns or if they saw everything as a supernatural sign. Were these early thunderstorms merely omens, signs from the sky gods, or just random bursts of nature's chaos? You don't know, but in this moment, you don't care about the past or the future. You care about surviving what's coming. Then, there it is again. Another deep rumble. This one's closer, much closer, and it's not like any sound you've ever heard. It shakes the very air, the trees swaying with the force of it. You can feel the earth trembling beneath your feet. Every muscle in your body goes taut. You've been taught to respect the earth, the sky, the animals, but nothing has ever made you respect them like this storm is doing now. The birds, once the constant soundtrack of your life, have gone eerily silent. Even the animals, usually so resilient, are gone, vanishing into the safety of their burrows or the high trees. The world around you feels like it's holding its breath. And you, too, find yourself holding yours. The silence between the thunderclaps is deafening. Then, as if the sky can no longer hold its fury, the first flash of lightning splits the sky in a blinding arc. It's so bright, it burns the inside of your eyelids even through your closed eyes. It's like the sky itself has cracked open, revealing something powerful, something beyond your understanding. You've never seen anything like it before. The flash lingers for a moment, and then, almost immediately, the thunder follows, an earth-shaking boom that rattles your bones and sends you stumbling backward. You're stunned, heart racing. For the first time, the wild is no longer just a part of the land. It's in the sky above you, too. And you have no idea what to expect next. This is new, and you're caught right in the middle of it. As the first lightning flash fades, the world is bathed in a stillness that's almost worse than the storm itself. It feels as though everything is paused, waiting for the next strike. You instinctively seek shelter, but there's nowhere to go. The trees, so familiar, suddenly look foreign, twisted and swaying in ways that unsettle you. The earth beneath your feet feels wrong, as though it, too, is being rearranged by the storm. A primal fear builds in you, and for the first time, you feel small, fragile in the face of something much bigger than yourself. The wind picks up again, howling through the trees with a ferocity you never imagined. It's no longer the light breeze that once seemed so welcoming. This is a gale, wild, untamed, and filled with a force that seems bent on tearing everything apart. The branches of the trees snap and bend, their leaves caught in the fierce currents of air. You take a step back, instinctively trying to protect yourself from the wind's sting. And then, the next flash. The sky rips open again, the lightning striking so close you feel the heat of it on your skin, even from a distance. The flash is so bright that it leaves afterimages in your vision, like the ghost of a world that is too powerful to see with mortal eyes. The thunder follows, louder and more deafening this time. The ground shakes under your feet. You almost fall as the force of the sound vibrates through your body. It is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Historians still argue whether ancient humans truly understood the connection between lightning and thunder. Did they believe it was the gods in anger, or simply a natural disaster they couldn't yet comprehend? In this moment, you're not thinking about explanations. You just know that you're in the presence of something dangerous, something that is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The rawness of it, the primal force in the air, makes you realize that you are a tiny part of something far larger, something that cannot be controlled. The storm rages on, its power seeming to grow with every passing moment. You press your back against the nearest tree, feeling the rough bark scrape against your skin, as if the very earth is trying to protect you. Your breathing quickens, and for the first time, you feel a deep, unsettling vulnerability. You can no longer hear the comforting sounds of the forest, the rustle of leaves or the chatter of animals. All you hear is the storm, the howl of the wind, the crackle of lightning, the booming thunder that feels like the sky itself is trying to tear you apart. In the distance, you see shadows move. It's your people, your tribe, perhaps. Are they seeking shelter like you? Or are they running toward the storm, drawn by a primal curiosity, an instinct you haven't yet developed? You don't know. All you can think about now is survival. The storm is no longer something distant or abstract. It is a force, and it's here, right in front of you. The thunder cracks again, and this time, it sounds almost like a roar. It shakes you to your core. You realize, with a growing sense of dread, that this storm might not just pass. It feels endless, as if the sky itself has decided to unleash its fury, and you're caught right beneath it. The next flash of lightning blinds you. You can feel the warmth of it in your bones, and the ground beneath you shudders as the thunder crashes in its wake. You stumble backward, but there's nowhere to run. The world around you seems to be unraveling, piece by piece. Trees sway, their limbs stretching toward the heavens as though reaching for something, or maybe trying to escape. The air is thick, heavy with moisture and electricity, as if the storm itself is breathing in rhythm with your quickening heartbeat. For a brief moment, you question your own survival. Will you make it through this storm? Will any of you? The terror is palpable, a tangible weight in your chest, and you're not sure whether it's the storm or the ancient fear of the unknown that makes you feel so small. You're not even sure where your people are now. Have they found shelter? Are they as frightened as you? Or are they braver, facing this strange power with a resolve that you can't yet comprehend? The wind howls again, sending a shiver down your spine. It's no longer the gentle breeze of the forest, it's a wild thing, an untamed creature that tears through everything in its path. You duck lower, instinctively trying to shield yourself from the onslaught of rain and debris. The ground beneath you becomes slick with the flood of water, and you fight to keep your footing. The storm is relentless, a monstrous force that seems to take pleasure in its power. You've never heard anything like this before. The thunder doesn't just echo, it rumbles, as though it's coming from deep within the earth itself. Historians still debate whether ancient humans truly grasped the idea of cause and effect when it came to storms, or if they simply viewed them as the manifestation of unseen forces. In your moment of terror, you don't care about history or explanations. All you know is that this is real, this is a force that can end you if you're not careful. The lightning strikes again, so close now that it feels as though the very sky is about to crack open. It's not just light, it's a burst of power, a flash so bright that it sears your vision, leaving behind a trail of afterimages. The thunder that follows is a deafening roar, a sound that rattles the very bones of the earth. You flinch, instinctively covering your ears, but there's no escaping it. The storm is all-consuming now. You watch in a kind of dazed awe as the landscape around you is illuminated by the sheer intensity of the lightning. The world is momentarily turned into a sharp, vivid silhouette, a place where shadows and light play together in a twisted dance. You're mesmerized and terrified all at once. The wind presses against your chest, as if trying to push you down into the earth, while the storm rages above you. For a fleeting moment, you think you hear voices in the distance. Your people. But the wind is too loud, the rain too heavy to make out any distinct sounds. You can only focus on the now, the here. The present moment is all you have. And in this moment, you realize that the storm is more than just a force of nature. It is a living thing, powerful and untamable. And it's here, in your world, in your life. The fear inside you grows with each passing minute, but so does something else, a strange, growing respect. There's nothing you can do but endure. The storm is too strong, too wild, and too powerful for you to control. But you are a part of it now, caught in the web of its fury. As the storm rages on, time seems to stretch and warp. Every second feels like an eternity, each rumble of thunder a constant reminder that you are at the mercy of something far greater than yourself. The fear is still there, gnawing at your insides, but there's something else now too, an odd sense of awe. The power of the storm is mesmerizing, and you can't help but be fascinated by it, even as it tears apart the world you know. The wind continues to whip around you, biting at your skin like 1,000 tiny needles. You try to move, but the storm is a force you can't escape. The rain is coming down in sheets now, drenching you through, as the earth beneath your feet turns into a slippery, treacherous bog. The trees around you sway violently, their roots tugged at by the invisible hand of the wind. You can feel the branches reaching out, as though the forest itself is trying to escape, to flee from the madness above. You are but a speck in this immense chaos, struggling to stay upright. It's hard to think straight. Your mind is flooded with confusion and panic, but somewhere in the back of your thoughts, a question nags at you: what do we do now? You glance around, hoping for some sort of guidance, but there's nothing. No sign from the elders, no voice to tell you what to do. You realize with a start that you've never faced anything like this before. The weather has always been predictable: the sun, the rain, the change of seasons. But this? This is different. This is a force that defies understanding, a storm that has no respect for the patterns you've grown used to. You glance upward again, your heart racing as the sky is torn apart by another flash of lightning. It's so close, so intense, that you can feel the air crackle with its energy. The thunder follows almost immediately, a sound so loud that it shakes the very ground beneath you. You can feel it vibrating in your bones, a pulse that reverberates through your entire body. It's as though the storm is alive, breathing, moving with an intelligence you can't comprehend. And yet, despite the terror, there's a strange sense of beauty in it. This force, this power, is nature in its purest form, raw, untamed, and utterly unstoppable. Historians still argue whether early humans ever truly understood the concept of fear in relation to the weather. Were these storms just random occurrences, or were they seen as something far greater? In your world, it's hard to imagine that the storm could be anything but a sign, a message from the heavens themselves. The earth groans beneath the weight of it, the sky screams in its fury, and you, caught in the middle, feel like nothing more than a tiny speck on the surface of something much larger than yourself. Your senses are overwhelmed: there's the deafening thunder, the violent wind, the relentless rain, but still, you cannot tear your eyes away from the spectacle above. The storm is a living thing, and you are part of it, whether you like it or not. You can't stop the fear from creeping in, but something in the back of your mind tells you that this is something you must endure. You are witnessing something rare, something primal, and while it terrifies you, it also reminds you of the power of the world you live in. The forces of nature are not to be underestimated. For a moment, everything falls silent. The wind dies down, the thunder recedes, and the rain lessens. You stand still, breathless, your senses overloaded by the sudden calm. It's as though the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for the storm to make its next move. You wonder if it will pass, if it will end as suddenly as it started, or if this is only the beginning. And then, as quickly as it came, the storm strikes again. Another flash, another deafening roar. The ground shakes. The world is thrown back into chaos, and you realize, this is not something that can be stopped. The storm has no intention of letting up. You can only wait, survive, and hope that you and your people make it through this unscathed. The storm now feels like an endless cycle, one flash of lightning after another, one crack of thunder following so quickly behind the other that you begin to lose track of time. The once familiar landscape now seems alien. The forest, which had always felt like a sanctuary, feels like a prison, its trees now towering, threatening, as the wind howls through their branches. The earth, your constant companion, is turning against you, becoming slippery, unpredictable. You can feel the weight of the storm pressing down on you, a force that makes even the simplest movements feel like a struggle. You're drenched, cold to the bone, but you don't dare stop. You have to keep moving, to find somewhere safe, even though the very idea of safety feels like a distant memory. The storm seems to shift, to change direction with every gust of wind. One moment, you're facing the wind, the rain stinging your face like sharp needles. The next moment, the storm has turned, and you're no longer sure which way you're supposed to go. As you stumble forward, you hear the unmistakable sound of someone calling your name. It's faint, lost in the howling wind, but it's there. You turn, trying to catch a glimpse of whoever it is, but all you can see is the blur of rain and wind. Your heart races as you realize that you're not alone. Your people are out there too, somewhere in the madness, fighting the storm just as you are. You shout into the storm, hoping they can hear you. But the sound is swallowed by the storm, leaving you with nothing but the pounding of the wind in your ears. The fear is still there, gnawing at your insides, but there's something else now too. A sense of determination. You won't let this storm take everything from you. You will survive. The world around you continues to be torn apart by the storm, but in the chaos, you begin to notice something. The air, once thick and oppressive, has begun to change. The wind, though still strong, has started to lose some of its intensity. The thunder no longer shakes the ground with every rumble. It's still there, but the storm seems to be calming, retreating. You wonder if this is the eye of the storm, the brief moment of peace before it all starts again. Or maybe, just maybe, the worst is over. You glance around, trying to make sense of the new stillness. The trees, once writhing in the wind, are now almost eerily still. The rain, though still falling, has lost some of its ferocity. It's as if the storm is running out of steam. You pause for a moment, unsure of what to do. The world is a mess. The land, once familiar and safe, is now a battlefield. The storm has left its mark on everything. The trees are broken, the ground churned into mud. But you're alive. You're still here. In this moment, you realize something: this storm, this force of nature, is not just a random event. It is a cycle. It will come again, as it always has. The world you live in is unpredictable, wild, and chaotic, but it's also beautiful in its own way. You've just witnessed the raw power of the earth and sky, a power that can destroy, but also rebuild. You are part of that cycle, just as the trees, the animals, and the sky are. The storm has passed, but the lesson it leaves behind is clear: you are not in control. The world is bigger than you, and nature will always find a way to remind you of that. But, in the end, it's not about control. It's about survival. And, in that, you have succeeded. As the storm gradually subsides, the world around you begins to shift. The heavy silence left in the wake of the storm is almost as unnerving as the thunder that had shaken the earth. The wind, once fierce and unyielding, now only whispers through the trees. The thunder has faded into a distant murmur, as though the storm has exhausted itself and left the earth to breathe. The air is thick with the scent of wet earth and the dampness of everything it touches. You take a deep breath, letting the cool, fresh air fill your lungs. The chaos, the fear, it all feels far away now. But the world is different. The land that you knew, the paths you had walked countless times, is now unrecognizable. The storm has left its mark: broken trees, displaced rocks, and the familiar sights of your world scattered, rearranged in ways that seem unnatural. The ground beneath your feet, once firm and solid, is now slick with mud and water, making every step feel uncertain. You're not sure where to go, where to even begin. The storm has swept everything clean, but it's left behind a world that feels new, unfamiliar. You try to gather your bearings, taking stock of what remains. The sound of your people's voices slowly reaches your ears, rising above the quiet of the aftermath. They, too, have survived. You're not alone. You're part of a larger group, connected by this experience, this shared moment of terror and awe. The elders, who had once spoken of the gods and their control over the weather, are now silent, perhaps unsure of how to explain what just happened. Did they truly believe this was a divine act, a punishment, or was it just the work of nature's unpredictable fury? Historians still argue whether early humans saw natural events like storms as divine messages or simply as forces to be feared and respected. Perhaps both are true. After all, how can you not feel the hand of something greater when you're standing in the middle of a storm like this? The sheer power of it all, the way the earth trembles and the sky cracks open, it's humbling, to say the least. The storm has made you realize something fundamental: the world is larger than you can fathom. It doesn't care for your needs or your desires. It simply exists, in all its raw, untamed power. But, in this moment, you are not defeated. You have endured. You have faced the storm head-on, weathered its fury, and come out on the other side. Your body is sore, your muscles stiff from the cold and the strain of fighting against the storm's force. Yet, your mind is clearer now than it has been in a long time. You have learned something. You've learned to respect the storm, not as an enemy, but as a force of nature, something that is as much a part of your world as the ground beneath your feet, the sky above, and the animals that roam around you. You look around at the others, your people, and you see the same realization in their eyes. There is fear, yes, but there's something else too, an understanding. The storm was not a punishment. It was a reminder. A reminder of the wildness of the world, of the unpredictability of nature, and of the smallness of human life in the grand scheme of things. You've learned to live with that, to accept it. It is not something to be feared, but something to be respected. And so, as the last remnants of the storm disappear into the distance, you feel a strange sense of calm wash over you. The world may be unpredictable, wild, and dangerous, but it is also beautiful in its rawness, its power. You will face it again, and each time, you will be stronger, wiser, more prepared. For now, the storm has passed. The sun will rise again, and the world will go on, as it always has. But you will never forget the lesson it taught you, the lesson that nature is both a destroyer and a creator, and that survival is not about control, but about resilience. As the last echoes of the storm fade into the distance, the world around you slowly begins to settle. The once unfamiliar, chaotic landscape now starts to regain its shape. The broken trees that had seemed so threatening now appear as part of the natural order, twisted and torn by the storm, but not defeated. They stand tall, their branches reaching toward the sky once more. The earth beneath your feet is still wet and treacherous, but it too begins to solidify, like a sleeping beast waking from its slumber. The storm may have torn everything apart, but the land remains. You begin to walk, your steps slow at first, testing the ground beneath you. The mud clings to your feet, a reminder of the battle you just endured. The air is damp and cool, carrying with it the faint scent of fresh rain and earth. It feels different now, not just because of the storm's aftermath, but because you've changed too. Something inside you has shifted. You've faced the fury of nature and survived. There is strength in that, even if it is a strength that comes from endurance rather than control. You are not invincible, but you are resilient, and that is enough for now. The others are scattered around, their faces etched with the same weariness, the same sense of awe and fear. But there's also something else in their eyes, something more difficult to define. Maybe it's a sense of camaraderie, a shared understanding of what it means to face the raw power of the earth and live to tell the tale. Maybe it's simply the knowledge that, no matter how unpredictable the world around you becomes, you have survived. You have endured. You glance up at the sky, now clear again, its deep blue stretching endlessly above you. It seems so peaceful now, a stark contrast to the chaos you just experienced. But you know that this calm is only temporary. The sky will change again, and when it does, it may bring another storm. You don't know when, and you don't know how fierce it will be, but you know it will come. And when it does, you will face it again, with the same resilience that helped you survive the last one. Historians still debate whether the ancient humans who lived through these storms ever truly understood the concept of cycles, of nature's rhythms, and how the world would change. But in that moment, standing beneath the now peaceful sky, you feel a deep connection to everything around you, the earth, the trees, the animals, and the weather. You understand that these forces are part of the same cycle, one that has been going on for as long as time itself. The storm is just one part of that cycle, and now that it's passed, the world will return to its natural rhythm. You begin to walk again, moving through the forest, your tribe at your side. The path ahead is still uncertain, the future unpredictable. But there is something calming about the storm's passing, an understanding that, no matter what happens next, you are part of something much larger than yourself. The earth, the sky, and everything in between, these things are not your enemies. They are your companions, your teachers. You've learned that you can't control the world around you, but you can control how you face it. And that, in itself, is a victory. The storm is over now, but the lessons it left behind will stay with you, woven into the very fabric of your being. You will carry them with you, through every storm, through every change, and through every challenge. And when the next storm comes, you'll be ready. You'll face it with the knowledge that you, like the trees that bend and sway in the wind, are capable of withstanding whatever the world throws your way.